pull up a chair, everybody, and really enjoy the beautiful pictures you're about to see. Today is going to be itinerary day, and me and Kimberly, well, we're pretty much going to have our lips here because we're going to be watching in fascination because nobody knows this enchanting Rhine River itinerary better than the cruise maven, better than Sherry. Sherry, tell us again, how many times have you done this?
I know 7 for sure, up and back, both directions, and then I think there was an 8th, but I have to look through my notes to make sure.
That's amazing.
So it's pretty enchanting. It's just a great trip.
Did you ever get tired of it? Did you ever get bored of the scenery?
No, in fact, even the third time, because I did this 3 times last November and December, and by December it was really cold and blowy and frigid outside, but hat, gloves, coat, scarf, and you're still outside because it's remarkable. It's just so much fun to be there, and you just look around. It's like, wow, am I really here?
Wow.
It's neat, so I don't get tired.
Before I turn it over to you and kick it off, okay. This is your picture of that castle, right?
It is, yes. That's Rheinstein Castle.
Yeah. Wow. This is like one of my favorite pictures of all time. It's beautiful, and I just want to remind everybody that we're grateful, Sherry, that you've shared these pictures with us. That we're going to show. I know you have so many more, but what we're going to try to do is sprinkle in some pictures of each port. Sherry's going to go through it day by day and tell us what we have to look forward to. Are you ready?
I'm ready. All
right.
Set.
Well, we all fly into Zurich, and that's where we're all going to meet up for the first 2 nights. If you're all coming for the pre, so I'll turn it over to you.
Well, Zurich is where we will start. You know, if you're doing your air on your own, you'll come in whenever you arrive. Really, it's no set time that you have to be there. You will want to be there in time for dinner on the first night. That's important. But you're pretty much on your own when you land. There will be a transfer that you can set up, or will be set up for you to get from the airport to the hotel. And then the next morning, the hotel will have breakfast, and there will be a walking tour in Zurich. And you don't want to miss it, so even if you're a little bit tired, you'll have time to catch up. So just muddle through and take the city tour. It's included. There is an optional tour, but we'll talk about that later on. It's for the Rhine Falls, which happens to be the largest waterfall in Europe, if I'm correct, at least in Western Europe. So it's supposed to be really neat. I have not seen it. And then you go to bed, you wake up a little bit tired but feeling a little better, and then we'll get on the bus to go to Lucerne. And there should be a slide for Lucerne. Now that one is not my photo.
That one is not.
Well, okay.
This one is.
That one is. Yeah. And that's an iPhone shot, if you can believe it. It was just.
Wow.
I had the bird was cued, so okay, time for the picture. And this is the old. I'll just do a little bit very briefly. I don't want to bore everybody with my travelogue, but this is the old church bridge, and it spans the entire river. And on the inside of the roof, see the terracotta color roof over the bridge? There are inscriptions dating back hundreds of years that people have decorated the trusses. So that's pretty fascinating. You don't really see it unless you look up, so always look up.
And that's why we're so excited to come with you, the cruise maven, because you'll say, everybody.
Don't forget to look up.
Don't look up, you miss it. And so there's another view. Isn't that gorgeous?
Wow.
And that's just from downtown. That's from the other side of the bridge. When I took the bridge across and I just looked out at the water, there's the mountains.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful, and the air it's just so clean and you can breathe. It's not like, some valleys where it's all smoggy. This is just pristine. It's gorgeous. And Lucerne has when we get there, you will get a lake cruise tour, just before your hotel check-in. And then the next morning, there is a walking tour. So it's guided, of course. They have someone that meets you, and I'll be going there, too, to point out the funny things like the writing on the top of the bridge. But that's a nice tour. And then you have lunchtime on your own, and then you go to bed. And then the next morning, we board the motor coach for our ride to Basel. And Basel is
Basel.
Not basil. Basil is the stuff you sprinkle on tomato sauce. No, it's Basel. There will be an included city tour for that also. And then we'll board. Oh, this is part of the downtown, so you'll see this on your walking tour also. Basel is, these are all medieval cities, some more medieval than others, and so this building dates back, I think, to the 1500s, and it's now part of the university system, if I'm not mistaken. But see that clock there? It's a really cool clock to look at, and all the clocks work. I don't know how, but they manage. And then I think there's one more slide for Basel. Yeah, there's the river. There's time in the evening before dinner if you'd like, unless you just want to rest. You can walk along the riverbank. There's a cement path. It's not cobblestones. You can walk into Old Basel, the city center, and do some shopping, or again look up and look at all the frescoes and the cuckoo clocks that are painted onto walls and things. It's a really interesting city. It's Switzerland, It's you can buy some chocolate, but
Definitely.
time for chocolate. So then, and then once you board in Basel, there will be a welcome aboard dinner, and then you go to sleep and you can relax. And around middle of the night, the ship sets sail for Breisach, which is the first stop on the river cruise on the Rhine River. And
I want you to know that I am committed to pronouncing every city properly. So I know Basel, right? And it's Breisach.
Breisach.
Breisach. Breisach.
We can do the chuz.
Everybody who's watching, and welcome, Kathy. And I'm glad you're here. So everyone say it together. We have to get it right. It's Breisach.
Breisach. Oh God! And this picture was taken just on the Rhine, just about 15-20 minutes before we did arrive in Breisach. It's just very peaceful. It's a lot of farmland. It's pretty flat. Once you leave Luzerne, you're out of the lakes, you're out of the mountains, and you're leaving the Alps behind you. So then you get to Breisach, and this is from my walking tour. I've been, because I've been here so many times, I can opt and choose what I want to do, and I decided just to take the path that leads from where the ship is and walk up this winding road to, I didn't even go all the way up, and you can see how high up it looks just by seeing the rooftops. Everything dates back. This is, I want to say, the 12th century, so that would be the 1100s. But in Breisach, you have options. You can do a walking tour of Breisach and Freiburg. This is part of Breisach. This is sunset. I was walking after I did that climb. I decided, well, I'm going to go back to the ship. It's getting near cocktail time, and I turned around just as the sun was setting on the church, St. Stephen's Church. And again, if you don't turn around, if you don't look up, you'll miss quite a few things because you never know where the sun is, where the clouds are angling. And that's just another picture of more of the city. That's probably right. You can see the white piece of metal up in the corner. That was, ouch, that was taken from the sun deck on the Ama Serena that I was on.
Look how close. Look how close it is.
You can see you're right in town. And then from Breisach, your other choice is to take a bus excursion to this small, beautiful French village called Riquewihr. And that's what you're seeing now. It's again, these are all old, so I don't want to keep repeating myself, but they're old. Oops, sorry. And Riquewihr really is one main street that goes uphill, and it's lined with wineries. There's even a cheese cave that I stumbled into. Literally, I didn't know the door was there, and I'm like walking down the stairs into this cave filled with cheese, and people are going like this because they can't stand this. And I thought, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you take a picture of the smell?
I wish I could if it was like smell-o-vision, but it wasn't.
But you'll take us there if you remember.
I sure will. Oh yeah, it's really easy to find. And I did buy a big chunk of local Alsatian cheese, and I brought it back to the ship. And no one thought it smelled funny once it got to the ship, and we all shared it at dinner. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
So that's Riquewihr. And let's see. The pretzels, they're famous for their pretzels. And then we go to bed. The next day, we are in Strasbourg. Now, the ship docks. Strasbourg is opposite the river from a place called Kehl, Germany. So on one side you're in Germany, one side you're in Strasbourg. It's about a 10 to 15-minute bus ride just to go from Kehl, where we're docked, into Strasbourg, only because you have to go across the Bridge of Europe, which is what it's called. And sometimes they, they stop cars just to check and see who's coming in and out of France or in and out of Germany. And if it's a school day, there's school buses on the bridge. So it's still 15 minutes, and you're in Strasbourg. And we get there early enough in the morning, right after breakfast, to have a full day. This was, typical bicycles that are. I fooled with this photo a little bit just to get some.
Yeah, the color and everything. It looks like a painting.
Thank you. Yeah, there's, the pictures are just awesome.
Yes.
And they love their flowers in Strasbourg, and the canals run through it. There's a special little area. We will have a guided tour, of course, and they'll bring us into a little section called La Petite France, and it's really like you're going into an old French village. It's beautiful, with cafes and tiny little shops that are about this wide. The bakeries are gorgeous, and here's some of the options in La Petite France, where you can get croissant and quiche and cheese and more cheese and all sorts of wonderful things. And people do takeaway. It never used to be really acceptable, but you can. And that's just another picture of Strasbourg. Some of the ones on the right, the homes on the right, the long extension, those are half-timbered homes. And again, those are very medieval, very old, 1300s, 1400s. And you can see some of the roofs get a little bit dippy looking. This is cute. This is, again, Strasbourg. And if you look in that little window at the top there, see the stork?
Yeah.
Little stork? The stork is the mascot, basically, of Strasbourg. And you can buy stork stuffed animals, stork pot holders, stork kitchen towels. Everything has a stork on it. So it's their bird.
Is that the secret? Is that where all the storks come from, to deliver all the babies around the world?
Yes. I don't know around the world, but at least in Strasbourg. And you'll see storks with a basket in their mouth with, little, what you would think would be a baby inside. But interesting. They love their storks.
All right. And
holy creatures.
We can't, and I know everyone, we keep hinting about the special events we're going to be doing for our friends and family group only, but there's going to be something special. Maybe it's Strasbourg, maybe not. I don't know. We can't say any other word. Just
there's a possibility of somewhere. So, and it's interesting when you leave, before we get to Speyer, which is
Speyer.
In Strasbourg, that evening, probably around 9:30, they bring on board for your local entertainment, which is what you have the entire time, is local people come on board. It's a French singer, a French chanteuse, and her accordion player. And they do French standards that everybody, they'll even do Frère Jacques. So, I mean, everybody will know at least one of the songs. And then she does a few Edith Piaf numbers. And it's just, it's really nice. So then we go to bed and we wake up and we are in Speyer. This is, and I was telling you just before we started, this is a really, really old city. I mean, really old. That's downtown. You can walk from the river ship, to downtown Speyer, which is really wonderful. The guide will take us into town. You have the flexibility because it's so close. You can walk back to the boat at lunchtime. You can go back if you want and do some shopping. There's wonderful shopping in Speyer. The prices are great, and if you want to buy shoes, this is the city to buy shoes.
I was going to ask if there's something special that you're known for that you'd buy there.
I'm always up for buying shoes.
Isn't it strange? I mean, every time I come here, I buy a pair of shoes or some boots, and it's really interesting because they give you, you cannot try on a pair of shoes without someone handing you a shoehorn that's about this long.
Yeah.
You have to try on your shoes with a shoehorn. It's amazing. They love their shoes.
Right.
And this here is, this is a Jewish ritual bath. Speyer was the home to the largest Jewish population in the 1100s. This was discovered, and it dates back, it's the mikvah, it dates back to 1126.
Wow.
And it was in operation until the Crusades in the mid-1400s. Now, If you saw the whole background, you would see it's in an archaeological preservation area about the size of, oh gosh, maybe a quarter of a football field. It's not that huge, but people have events here because there's remnants of the original synagogue, again from they think that dates back to the 1000s. And it's all, they're still digging. They're still digging things out. And this, to get to where I was here, was down 2 flights of stairs in this narrow little, like, arched tunnel. So it's really interesting. And they had, the reason it's lit is because it was built with daylight coming in.
Wow.
So it's pretty interesting. Speyer is a very cool city.
I can't wait to see it. It's absolutely magnificent. Really, really beautiful. Wow.
I was inspired by Speyer.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, wow. Rum-bum-bum. Okay.
Thank you.
And next on our list will be Rudesheim. Not Rudesheim, Rudesheim.
Okay.
And
Rudesheim.
Rudesheim. Like
Stop it here, Rudis.
Right.
Hein. Two. All right.
Yep. Now you'll sound like you've been there before. And Rudesheim is this funny little city. It's everybody loves it. This is one of the optional tours you can do is to take these little rickety cable cars. You know I wouldn't go on that, but everybody else was. I even got a picture of Santa on one of these. And it goes, if you look way out in the distance, it goes to a statue of Saint somebody from the 1800s. It's not like this ancient artifact or something. But there's also a winery up there. So wine aficionados and enthusiasts might like that. Your other option is to go to this crazy place called Siegfried's Mechanical Museum.
Okay.
Siegfried, whoever he once was, collected music boxes from all over the world. They're all functioning, and they're all the creepiest things you'll ever listen to or see. They have the monkeys that do those little symbols that you often see on Twilight Zone. They're beautiful, though. They're incredibly intricate, and they work beautifully. And the guide in the museum will show you around, and she'll bring this. They have a little tiny one that's about this big, and they'll play that, and everybody has to go ooh and ah because it's just amazing how you can have that as a music box. Here's the exterior of Siegfried's.
Okay.
And you just go on the first floor. Well, no, there's 2 floors there, so you will go on to the second floor also to look at it. This is downtown Rudesheim. Cloudy day in the fall. And if you look up at the in the right-hand corner, there's a lot of, shall we say, pubs in Rudesheim. There's a main street called the Drosselgasse. And the Drosselgasse is really nothing more than an alley, but it's packed with cafes and pubs and restaurants and your Rudesheimer Schloss coffee houses there. So there's so much to do, and if you look to the left of that yellow building, anyway, there we go. There, to the left, you can take that road up there and just wind around through Rudesheim, too, if you want to do some walking on your own.
Okay, cool.
And then the next one, I think, is just an overview of the winery and the cable cars. Some good wines. They're the Alsatian wines. And there's if anyone does not want to walk from the riverboat to Rudesheim Central, it's about a 8 to 10 minute walk. It's really not far. But they bring this little trolley right up to the boat, and everybody likes to ride on the little train. So it's kind of fun. At least one direction. Take the train, It's just because it's so goofy. I had to take a picture of that.
9.
No. None of that on our lawn, please. So it's just German humor is pretty good. And then after Rudesheim, we're moseying up river. But right in between Rudesheim and Cologne are the castles. I don't know. Do we have the castle slides? We showed one at the beginning.
We showed one earlier. Yes.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, there's about 36 castles that you will see in a span of about 3.5 hours, because we're going extra slow so that you can see them. They're on both sides of the river ship, and it's narrated. So the cruise manager goes up in the wheelhouse with the captain, where it's nice and cozy and warm, and he narrates all the castles and the stories and the legends surrounding each castle and how they came to be and which ones are fortresses, which ones are ruins, which have been made into hostels, which ones were purchased by someone in Japan as their private residence. So that's all sorts of, yeah. Can you imagine?
Find me a castle.
I want a castle. And this is when you, pardon?
You can come visit. Our
Okay.
castle.
You come visit mine.
Oh.
Or we can meet at Disney World, right? Anyway, so this is just one of the pubs that you can go to. Cologne is known for their K-O-L-N with the two dots over the O. It's the Köln beer. It's only brewed in Cologne. You have to have a special license in order to brew that particular beer. And it's only served in those little bitty small glasses. And the glasses, if you do go on any beer tasting or just try it, they'll tell you don't clink the glasses to say Prost at the top. You have to clink them at the bottom because they're so thin that they'll shatter.
Thank you. I mean, that's huge information, so we know that's the beer we drink. And
Right.
And Cologne.
Don't break the glass. Now we know.
Be careful. And this, of course, is the Cologne Cathedral. It is massive. And a tour of this is included. There is a walking tour included in Cologne. So you will be taken from the riverboat to Cologne Cathedral. And this is the chocolate museum in Cologne. It's run by Lindt, the chocolatiers. It's the Schokoladen Museum. And you have to have a hot chocolate and a piece of cake. There you go.
Okay.
And then twist your arm. I've never seen the museum. I just go right to the restaurant and get chocolate and chocolate. And then there's a huge candy store next door, of course. It's like in Disney where you buy the stuffed animals and the franchise things from the particular exhibit. Here it's candy. So you walk out of there and you just funnel right through into the chocolate shop and the candy store. So that's fun. And that's our final night in Cologne is the captain's dinner. Well, you say goodbye, but they do a nice presentation. And one night, we didn't talk about this, it's usually not the captain's dinner, but a different night is, and we can talk about that French word that we mentioned last week, the chaîne de rôtisseurs, the special dinner. So it's the French Gastronomic Society that AMA Waterways is the only river cruise line that is a member of this organization, and they do a special chaîne de rôtisseurs themed menu one night during the cruise, in addition to the captain's gala dinner on the second to last night. So that would be after we leave Cologne. And then from Cologne to Amsterdam, there's not much to see. It gets a little bit industrial. It's very pretty. But you're all looking forward to getting to Amsterdam and hitting the ground running because you want to see the canals. You want to take the guided tour. There will be a boat tour that's included that will go through the canals in Amsterdam. It will take us past Anne Frank's house, which I think there's a slide.
There is. Yep.
Okay. This is another house I just happened to see that struck my fancy. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a law firm. It's not a single-family residence, but it's still beautiful and well-preserved. That's Anne Frank's house, the building in the middle. And it's so nondescript from the outside you wouldn't even imagine. But if you have time, that could be something that you might want to choose to do later on. And any more slides from Amsterdam? I think we have one more.
For Amsterdam.
That's it. Well,
yeah, that's it from Amsterdam. And then we do overnight in Amsterdam, so we have that evening and
yeah. You have the whole and if you want after dinner you can walk from the river ship into Amsterdam for those that want to explore and go to the red light district or the coffee shops.
Red light district. Absolutely.
I don't know if anybody
How can I not?
who's tuned in right now has ever been to Amsterdam with the red light district. It's fascinating just to walk through it. Absolutely fascinating. I'll leave it at that.
That's a good way to leave it.
Every street is different.
Every street is different. Every window is different. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you've got some important dates.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Sherry. That was awesome. The pictures are magnificent. And I know we could have taken twice as much time or even longer going through. The wonderful part is that I see that we're excited about is that going with you and knowing when to look up, knowing when to take that random left turn and end up in a cheese cave, and being in places we don't experience here, had never have, and making sure we don't miss a thing, and just being on this Ama Christina, this cruise. The itinerary just looks like it's going to be spectacular. So thank you for sharing.
You're
And
welcome. Happy to share.
What I want to do
Sharing
now,
is caring.
before we wrap up, and by the way, if you've got any questions, we're not going to let you. We will let you go, but we'll let you when it's time to go. We just want to make sure we answer any questions or comments that you have. So first, a quick review of the dates. February 9th is our third and final presentation like this, and that's where we're going to go through the friends and family rates, because remember, this is a charter, not a group, so they're really spectacular package rates, so you don't have to worry about anything. We've built everything in. Alma includes almost everything already. We've built in even more, and we want to make it stress-free, convenient, and just value added. And we'll also go through all the particulars, the deposit schedules, all that kind of stuff. It's really simple. And then you have the overnight to determine Feb 10 and 11. We call that deposit day. We're available by telephone, by text, carrier pigeon, or however you want to contact us if you have any questions, but we'll be available to take the deposit. Snapchat, right.
I gotta learn that.
Your stateroom requests. Speaking of stateroom requests, if you need the Ama Christina deck plan, you could certainly go to the Ama Waterways website, or it's on our website or on Sherry's website. Where you can see the deck plan, see what it looks like. The piano deck is, of course, the lowest deck where you have small upper windows, and the cello and violin deck is where you have their infamous double balcony staterooms, which are
amazing.
grand. And, oh, by the way, I do have a list of, I could read them out to you if you want to jot them down, the staterooms that are available. I'm going to do that right now, before I check to see if there's any questions, and then bid you a good night. But when I say the stateroom numbers, if you have your heart set on a stateroom number that I don't mention, let us know, because it's one of two reasons why we don't have it. Number one, it's possible one of our guests is already in it. Okay, if that's the case, we'll tell you, and we'll go with option 2. There's really not a bad seat in the house. Okay. Or it just may not be one of the staterooms that we pre-purchased. Remember,
so we can fiddle-faddle.
Right, with a charter, we pre-buy the stateroom. So if there's one that you want that's not part of our allotment that we own, I would be happy to swap out and get you what you really want, including suites. Suites are on request, so just let us know. And you'll also see the map there, the itinerary. So let me just see if we have any questions at all, and then we will respect. Nope, Elizabeth, nope, I don't see any questions. So we're going to give a 30-second countdown, so don't leave just yet. Was there anything you had for Sherry? Sherry, anything you wanted to add?
Do you still have that picture of the castle that you put on the very, very beginning? Can you get to? I want to point out my favorite little thing on that castle. Don't mess things up. That's okay.
I can.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Hold on there. I can.
There we go.
See, that looks no good. I'm so good.
There you go. Thank you. Okay, so if you look at the turret that's on the right, do you see that little? I remember the little basket that's hanging off the top. You see that little tiny? I wish I could point, but I can't. That's kind of creepy. Again,
here?
No,
yeah.
right here.
Yeah, that little thing there. It's that's where they used to put people that committed crimes or things that people didn't like, and they would hang them out over the castle in the basket until it was too late. So you really didn't want to do something wrong, because that's really awful punishment. Horrible.
Yeah. Especially for those of us that don't like heights like that.
Yeah.
That's true too.
We have a question from Doug. It's a great question. Are there elevators to the lower decks for passengers who may have trouble taking the stairs? And I know we had discussed this, so sure, if you want to share it. It's a great question.
Sure.
Doug. Get your answer right now.
Yep. Thanks, Doug. There are 3 passenger decks on the Ama Christina. The elevator goes to the 2 middle ones. It does not go down to the lowest deck. It'll take you from the the two middle ones, which are the violin and the cello deck, if I'm not. And it goes between that. So the dining room is on the middle, so it'll get you from the top down to the dining room, or from there up to the other passenger level. It also does not go up to the sun deck. And there's a reason for that, and I know there's a technical and a logistical reason why, and it was explained once, but I can't remember. But it only goes between the two middle decks. So great question, especially if someone has a mobility issue, and the stairs may not be, even though it's not a huge flight of stairs, and it's a curved stairway, so you can take your time on it. If someone does have a mobility issue, that would not be the deck to be situated on.
Right. Those two middle
Thank
decks. If you want us to follow up by phone or email with you to be more precise, Doug, no problem. But if you look at also the, I'm not going to run the risk of going back to the slides. I don't want to put a battle. But you'll see on the deck plan they actually show where the stairs are, or where the elevators are. So that very, very bottom deck, the elevator, the very, very bottom passenger deck, where there's only a few staterooms, does not go down.
Yeah, that's a piano deck.
That's piano deck, right. I think it's a wrap, everybody.
Okay.
Sherry, thank you. This is awesome.
Yes,
I
thank
can
you.
talk
Now
about
I'm
this.
excited.
I could talk about this, this itinerary from now until next week, but I won't. So I hope you all join us, and it's 2017, not 2016.
Right.
Yes.
All right, everybody. This is recorded. We're going to load it up on YouTube so you can watch it anytime. Tell your friends and family only if they're fun and interesting. Good night, everybody.
See you. Thanks. Bye.